So Manchester United have been linked with 15M Kvaratskhelia recently, although he would likely cost in excess of £70 million. However, I think there's a player on the market who is stylistically similar to Kvaratskhelia, who genuinely, and this is not clickbait, may actually be on the same level as the likes of Neymar and Hazard in terms of natural ability, is 21 years old, is 2-footed, and could be available either in January or in the summer for as little as £10 to £15 million, given that his current contract expires in 2026. But who is that player? Well, before I tell you who it is, a quick reminder, I do have an in-game Instagram group chat where we do have analysis and discussion throughout all the Manchester United games, as well as Q&As that I'll make into videos at the start and at the end of each week. So if you do want access to that, I'll leave my Patreon linked in all the usual places. So those who are A-grade students of the game have probably guessed it already, it's Lyon's French wonder kid Rayan Cherki. And if you haven't watched Cherki and think I'm over-exaggerating, let me just show you his FB ref report from the past 365 days. So for non-penalty goals and non-penalty XG, he ranks fairly modestly in the 65th and the 75th percentiles respectively, whilst also slightly overperforming his non-penalty XG in the process. However, when it comes to his chance creation and ball progression, genuinely this guy is producing world-class level output. Cherki ranks in the 99th percentile, that is the top 1% of all attacking midfielders and wingers in Europe's top 5 leagues over the past 365 days for his XG assisted, expected assists, key passes, progressive passes, passes into the final third, successful take-ons, as well as the actual percentage of his take-ons which are completed, and that's just the metrics he ranks in the top 1% for. He also ranks in the low to mid 90th percentiles for his passes and his carries into the final third, as well as at least around the mid 70th percentiles for most of his other metrics as well. But just from the eye test, you can see that Cherki has generational level talent, and really the only thing that's stopping him becoming a serious Ballon d'Or contender is his own attitude and work rate, which has been called into question in the past. However, he is still very young, so he may grow out of that, and he has been on fire this season. And this is despite being at arguably the most dysfunctional and chaotic club in Europe right now in Lyon, who have been provisionally relegated to Ligue 2 for financial reasons, meaning that come the summer, not only would he be heavily discounted because of that, but he'd also have 1 year left on his contract, and I think an elite level man manager could potentially turn Cherki into one of the, if not the best player in the world, if he was used in the right role. But what exactly is that role? Well, it's a role that Maradona played throughout his career, which many, and I personally, would refer to as a trequartista. And this would see Cherki play as a false 9 in Amorim's 3-4-3, just with a bit more freedom. And it doesn't have to be in every single game or even from the start, but could also be from the bench. But if you put pace around him and give him a free role in possession, this guy will work wonders. I mean, his ability to receive possession in tight spaces and somehow manage to wriggle out of pressure using his close ball control and quick footwork, or just find the perfect incisive pass between the lines, is unmatched for a player who isn't already considered elite. And I mean, for the price, is it not worth the risk? Defensively, you are going to have to allow for a reduced output in terms of his pressing and his overall defensive output, but you would also have to do that for some of the greatest players of all time like Maradona, Ronaldinho or Neymar. But overall, even factoring that in, I think at least having Cherki in the squad alone gives United a wildcard that could be a game changer. I would consider moving Xerxes on, probably on loan with an obligation to buy, at least in January anyway, and then I would bring in Cherki for probably like £15 million max, and use him as the withdrawn centre forward in that trequartista role, dropping between the lines and being the main playmaker in the side. But unlike Joshua Xerxes, Rayan Cherki has the versatility to float across the pitch, being as two-footed as you can get, being able to glide past players and progress the ball into dangerous areas, and in the final third, certainly when it comes to chance creation, he has the output to win you games on his own, which Xerxes just doesn't have. In the final third, he obviously improves United with his chance creation, dribbling and incisive passing. In the middle third, he has the ability to link play efficiently by dropping into space between the lines, but also in the build-up phase, he could be an incredible asset to have as well. See, Amorim likes to instruct his midfield double pivot to drop to the edge of the box in order to drag the opposition's midfield line high, with the wing-backs also sitting deep on the flanks, and even the two interior forwards dropping deep to drag the opposition's full-backs high up the pitch. Now, because the opposition is likely going to want to keep two of the centre-backs around the halfway line, Cherki, either as the false 9 himself or one of the two interior forwards, can drop deep and become the free man, with United's double pivot and central centre-back on the edge of the box, looking to drag their man-to-man presses behind them wide, stretching the space between them to open up a passing lane for one of Onana or the two wide centre-backs to find Cherki with a pass, who can drop deep into the space created, wherefrom he has the trickery and the fluidity in his movement to be able to spin the press pressing player on his back, and now because of the deeper positioning of the rest of the United side, the majority of the opposition's defensive shape, barring maybe the two centre-backs, will have pushed up high in order to commit to the press. And so once Shirky is able to turn and drive into the middle third, now if United have pace around Shirky in the front three, and from the two wing-backs, United can exploit this space with an artificial counter-attack. Also, Amorim's United struggle most when they concede first and then have to break down a deep, compact and organised defensive shape, and so having someone like Shirky who can come off the bench and play a free role in the front line could single-handedly allow United to create substantially more chances, without Amorim even having to make a tactical change to the system. Now I am going to do more videos on Shirky from a tactical point of view, alongside players like Kvaratskhelia and Rafael Leao, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and sign up to my Patreon if you do want access to the in-game Instagram group chat.